I want to talk about the new era that we are living in right now, because it's important that we as believers discern the times and the seasons. We are not just in a new season. We are in a new era. And new eras are longer than seasons. If you look at what's been happening in this last generation, you'll see that everything has been digital. In fact, the new generation coming up right now, they're a digital generation. They do everything differently. They think differently. They process things differently. Just remember, just a few years ago, we were picking up a phone device called a telephone with a big curly cord on it that connected the receiver into the phone that we dialed with our finger, that was attached to a phone cord into the wall. And that was modern telecommunications. We could actually phone anyone. And in fact, we could even get extension lines and carry that phone around with us as far as that cord would go. And we thought that that was awesome, you know. Children born today wouldn't have a clue what that device looks like. They've never seen one because they're extinct. Even think about CDs and tapes. It wasn't that long ago. In fact, I was just going through some old stuff the other day and found a cassette tape of a message that I brought to my family when we were on the mission field years ago. And I had to run around to try to find a tape recorder to play it on. Why? Because tape recorders are extinct almost, and so are cassette tapes. What are they? Pretty soon, CDs themselves will be extinct. Everything will be downloaded out of the cloud. What is the cloud? That's part of the new era that we are living in. Oh, there's so many changes. Changes in mobile devices, yes. Change in technology, yes. Change in thinking, yes. What are we going to do in this era transition? You know, in every generational transition, we'll see change. I remember when I first became a new Christian, I went into the church, and there were some new things that some of the older Christians who had been there for a while didn't like. For one thing, that they thought acoustic guitars didn't belong in the church at all, that you needed a piano or an organ. So when the acoustic guitar came in, and when drums came in, and when electric guitars came in, oh my gosh, it was like the devil himself came and invaded the church, because they didn't understand the era change. They didn't understand that musical era, the praise and worship transition, even for the church, the heartbeat of the next generation, creating its own sound. So what I want to do today is give you a few things that you need to look at in order to be ready for this era transition. We're already in it. It's not coming. I'm not prophesying that it's coming. I'm just trying to help you walk in it and get ready. First of all, we need to be flexible. Flexible, flexible, flexible. Some of the old ways that we have learned are good. They're good, but they were good for that season back then. And it needs you to be flexible to learn new things today. You might have to change the way that you've done things for years. One of the things that we're finding is in the bookkeeping area is that it wasn't long ago when we did everything by hand. We balanced books by hand, we wrote checks by hand, all of that. You know, we put all our numbers in by hand, added by hand, and now everything's done by computer. Everything's computerized. We don't even write checks anymore. They're all computerized and the computer spits them out. But we had to be flexible. We had to determine that we'd be flexible enough to make that change. And so I just want to encourage you, be flexible. I have to be even flexible with, when I work with the younger generation, and the way that they move forward in ministry is very different from the way that the Lord has led me in the past. And that's because things are changing, they're different. So I have to examine what they're doing and be willing to be flexible, be ready to change some of the ways and not be so stuck in the old. Flexibility, that's the answer. Be willing to change. And in that flexibility, some things you'll find work, other things don't work. It's like you just have to be ready to make a change. Be flexible. Secondly, ties in a little bit with this, but be willing to make some drastic changes. Be willing. And some of that is going to take getting yourself educated oh my gosh, technology is growing so fast that for me, in my 60s, I'm thinking, what is that? It's too fast. It's too much to learn. I can't grasp it all. And then I have to say, shut your mouth on all that negative stuff. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I have to be willing. Okay, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to learn a new way of doing things. I'm willing to implement new things on my website or on my emails. Or, I remember years ago when, oh my gosh, just going from a regular phone to one of those cell phones. I didn't want a cell phone for a long time because I thought, oh my gosh, if you get a cell phone, they can get you in the car, they can get you in the restaurant, they can get you everywhere. And that is very true. But I wouldn't be without my cell phone now. I wouldn't be without a lot of the devices I have now. I had to be willing at some point to make a change. Are you willing to change? The next thing is to be open-minded. Some of the things that I have listened to in the younger generation are, woohoo, woohoo, no way, no way. Right away I rise up, no, that does not match what I've learned from God. That does not match the way that I've learned to do things. No, 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 And then the Lord will say, have you inquired of me? Have you thought this through? Is this just your own little bias, or are you just stuck in your own little framework of thinking and not willing to expand the horizon of your understanding? I remember the Lord one time saying to me, don't you know that my ways are past finding out, and you don't know my ways yet? Be open to learning new things. Be open to doing things in a different way, even if it looks like it contradicts what you've believed or what you've done in the past. Be open-minded. Be open-minded. Examine things. Talk it through. Process. I'm not saying to swallow everything that comes, but at least take some time to examine and to process, because God's going to do things in different ways. And then the final thing is to align yourself with the Word of God, because even though you want to be open-minded, we cannot compromise the Word of God. Everything we do in this new era has to be supported by the Word of God. It can't contradict the Word. It can't be opposing the Word. The Word is the Word. God has magnified His Word above all His name. His Word is His law. It's His bond. And so live according to the Word in this new era. There's going to be new things. Some are going to be good and some are not going to be good. You need discernment. How do you grow in discernment? Is by growing in the Word of God. Cleave to the Word of God and do things His way. So, we're in a new era, and you are going to grow and flourish in this new era. It's going to be so exciting. Oh, it's going to be so exciting for you. New frontiers, new things to enjoy, new ways of doing life. It's going to be amazing, and Jesus has to be at the core of that. So number 1, be flexible. Number 2, be willing to change. Number 3, be open-minded. And number 4, align to the Word of God. Make sure everything is aligned with the Word, and move forward and have the time of your life.